Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be installing the new headlights for my car. So right now it only has the brights, so I'm going to show you really quickly. I have my voltmeter right here. You got your little prongs right here. So in a Miata there's a little cord back here, if you can see. This plugs into the ignition, so this is your ignition switch. Not really a switch, I should say, it's just a connector. But in order to test and see where the 12 volt is, what you'll do is you'll stick the red, so the positive inside, on top of the metal, and then there's a little ground spot right here, which then you can see on the voltmeter right here, which is actually kind of hard to see. Right there, it's 0, which means I'm on the wrong one. If I go to the right one, you see you should have a 12 volt connection. And as far as settings go, on here, you want to have, so this is DC, so this is going to be volts DC, and since it's only 12 volts that you're trying to test for, 20 is perfectly fine for that, and that way you can test it. Now on mine, I've got two different spots, so there's 10 amps, and then there's basically like 600 volts, or 250 milliamps, or 200 milliamps, or whatever. So you want to make sure you're on the right connection there. So with it, then what you want to do is, once you have that, you want to go ahead and disconnect your battery. And once you've disconnected the battery, which I'll go do right now, you can see right here, I've already taken it off, loosened it up, so you just take it off. You only really need to take one off, you don't have to take both off of them, but you take that off, and then what I'm going to end up doing is, there is actually down here a zip tie that holds a lot of these wires up. I'm going to cut that zip tie right now, and then I'll throw another one back over it once I'm done. I just want to give myself a little more room, so I'm going to go ahead and knock that out and come right back with you all. So in that last little clip there, I didn't tell you guys, but the correct wire is going to be a white wire. Again, this is a 1991 Miata. So you want to use the white wire with blue stripes, as you can see right here, white wire with blue stripes. And for me, it's in the middle right there. And that's a live wire, so this one's going to stay hot basically the entire time. Whether the car's turned on or not, it's going to stay hot. So we'll go ahead and go ahead and kind of cut this back a little bit, and go ahead and cut it. So I'm going to cut back some of this shielding on here, just to give myself a little bit more room, and then at the very end what I'll do is I'll grab some electrical tape, and I will tape it back up. I just want to give myself a little bit of flexibility here. And again, you want to make sure, I can't say this enough, that you have taken your battery and you've unplugged it. You will fry yourself really badly if you don't. Alright, so as you guys can see here, I've pulled back the wires just enough. So basically there's a little bit of electrical tape wrapped around this, I guess it's a shield, like a heat shield or something. But then I've pulled that back a little bit, so you give yourself some more space, and there's some more electrical tape wrapped around it. Take that off. Now I am able to fully see these wires, and I can kind of move them around a little bit, and I can now pull my white with blue, which has my 12 volt current, off, and now I can work with just that wire. Now, as a precautionary thing, what it's very suggested to do is go ahead and retest this wire to make sure that once you've disconnected the battery, that it is indeed disconnected, and it has a little bit of current still flowing through it. Alright, so I went ahead and took another step here. As you can see, the wire is cut. Now, what I've done from there is I've used my wire strippers, and I have wrapped it around. You wrap it around here, and you go ahead and just yank on it and pull off the insulation, so that way you've got some fresh connections over here. And then twist those connections together to make sure it's a nice fluid contact when we re-put this in. Now the next step here, which Calvin is going ahead and doing, is he is disassembling the lights here. So as you can see, you have to take out these two screws on the side. Let me get a better view of that. These two screws over here on both sides. Then that black frame, which is now behind him, comes off.
And then you'll have a screw, which on this light it's on the left. You'll have a nut, or a screw, yeah. And then you have a screw down here, which you don't have to take out. It's only sitting on there, so you only have to loosen it and the light will pop out. And then the last thing is you have a spring right here at the top, which it holds. It's kind of like, you can see it kind of moves back and forth. It just holds it in there tightly, so you have to unplug that or unattach it, and then it'll come out.
Alrighty, so the next step here is to go ahead and fish this wire through. Luckily enough for me, there's already a wire running through there, which the previous owner put in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip that wire off, and I'm going to zip tie it to this one, and we're just gonna yank it through. So hopefully that works. If not, we're gonna try and get creative with how to figure out how to get through the firewall. That's probably gonna be the biggest thing for you all to work out. But if I can get down here and let you all see, which I need a light. There is this, if you can see right here, there's this wire right here that runs to the engine bay. I'm going to snip it right here, and I'm going to zip tie my wire to it, and I'm going to pull it through. That way I've got a nice little feeder line. Alright, so now that the wire is taped to it, all that I should be able to have to do is come over here, and slowly give a good pull on it. Be very careful as I'm pulling it through as well. But as you can see, I now have my wires for my headlights through. Rip. So the way this wiring harness came with these little connectors on them. I'm not gonna need these connectors. What I'm gonna end up doing is I'm going to tie these two wires together, and then I'm gonna use a crimp it on, and then it's gonna go into here. So now I'm gonna be able to not have to use this, and I'm gonna clean it up just a little bit, make it a lot nicer than how it normally comes. All right, so what I've done so far is basically you cut both lines, you twist them together, so you'll twist the red wire into this white and blue, again, white and blue wire. You'll twist them together, and then use one of these connectors. I got a bunch of connectors right here. Use one of these connectors and shove both wires in there. And then you use a crimp tool, and you will use that crimp tool to crimp down on top of the connection. That way it stays nice and tight. Make sure it's a very good connection. Give it a tug, see if it comes off. I'm gonna tuck this one into here. So as you can see, that goes into there. And this is how you crimp it. So you're gonna use your crimp tool right here, stick it right in there. And actually what's interesting is this crimp tool has the different colors already on it. So you use red and blue on there, and then you use your yellow ones on here. So I come in here, go down to the yellow spot, and now I make sure it's nice and tight in there, crimp down on top of it. It's a nice connection there, nothing's gonna come apart. Now I'm gonna tuck all this stuff back up here, get it all tucked away, use a bunch of these zip ties to clean everything up. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and test it and make sure it works. Because of course, if you plug it in and it doesn't work, that's kind of useless. So we're gonna go ahead and test it out and see if it works. Alrighty guys, so I wanna go ahead and finish this up real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock a lot of this out. Really what's gonna happen here is we went ahead and ran the wires. So my wires are run all the way over here. I've tucked them underneath where the, your radiator, kind of your crash bar area goes. Calvin already went ahead and installed this light. What it is a longer screw. So we have, I'll go ahead and give you guys the details. These are 5x16 and 1x1/4 millimeter washers that we put on. Those are gonna really help out as far as putting a good space there. Then we have these steel spacers. These are 3/8 and 1.5 inch spacers. They give you a little bit more length up here. You kind of pops up your headlights so that you're not having the headlights so low. And then there's the nut on the bottom. We had to get extended screws. Those screws are going to be, what are they? I gotta find them here. I still have some in the bag. Yeah, they're M8 1.25, and then they're 40 millimeters. So that gives you a little bit more length there to put that spacer on and that washer, and allows you to put the same nut back on. So you do that, install it. So basically that's the entire thing. Right now we're gonna go ahead and plug it in and see if it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the positive back on.
Before you do that too, you gotta make sure to unplug your headlight or it's gonna freak out. So if you unplug your headlight, then you're able to like screw it up and down.
That's very important. Oh. Let there be light. Guys, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the light is working. It's so awesome. I love this permanent sleepy eye, and these are way brighter than any stock NA Miata headlights because they're absolute trash. You can't see 2 feet in front of you.
Turn it off on the switch.
So nice. Look at that. Just one click. That's all. Woo. On, off, on, off.
So while Kevin's kind of cleaning everything up under here and wiring up everything, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I did this headlight, like this one over here. And so like Kevin was saying, we just got all this hardware from Home Depot, but where's it at here? So this is the new one that we're using. This is the one that comes with the Auxbeam lights. And by the way, I think Kevin showed you these already, but they're Auxbeam. They're the 7-inch wide ones. 36 bucks offline. But anyway, we got this longer bolt, which allows you to put that spacer on. So this is the, you can see the difference right there. This one you'll need because then you can put the spacer on and then you can put the washer on that we need to, which here's the washer. And this will go on the bottom because we're gonna be using this hole right here and it's too wide to fit through. So this washer will hold that. But we're gonna take this cover off. It's just like 2 screws on each side, Phillips head. Pretty quick, nothing much. Don't want to lose these bolts. Oh, that one's not in actually. Previous owner. Throw this in here. And you definitely want to keep this plastic in these headlights because they are pretty expensive just for the stock OEM headlights. I mean, you can probably find it on forums or Facebook or something like that, but it'll just pop out. Look at that, small clips on each side. Just be gentle with it, don't want to break it, but it'll come out just like that. And you want to set it over here, kind of set them over here, just put the screws and then set me over here. But and then you'll have, there is a bolt right here. And that's a long guys, I don't know if you can see that. It's gonna take a little bit. That'll loosen the right side of the light. And then you'll have one down here, which it's hard to see sometimes, but you'll need like a longer screwdriver. It's basically just a normal screwdriver will do. And this one, you don't have to take all the way out. It's just, the headlight will lift off this bolt down here, so just do it enough where the headlight will loosen for you. So that should be good enough. Maybe a little bit more. There we go, loosen this one up more. This one should pop out. Should be good almost. There we go. Actually, we don't need that. Have that spring right there. I think Kevin over here has the, you have the pliers? The needle nose ones? Yeah, they're over there in the seat, I think. Sick.
So handy.
I know, dude. These things right here, so good. But what you'll do is, let's see if we can get in here. There's a spring right here. And what you'll do is, you'll pull that spring off. There you go. Unattach the spring. And lift it off the bottom. There you go. You can just leave those screws in there if you want to, so you can't lose them. Probably the best bet, just because there's so many bolts to Miatas. We'll just take that out because it's not going back in. And then you have this connector right here. It's a clip. Just pulls off. And tuck that back in there. You know, I'll take it off. And then just keep these like in storage, just because they're OEM, so it's good. Don't want to break them. So now it's time to take our Auxbeam light. I love Auxbeam, dude. They're so good, so cheap, and they work. I've had mine on my car for over a year now, and they're so nice. But what it is we'll grab the bracket out of the box. Comes nice. Comes with all the hardware. We'll grab this part, that's the connector, and then the 2 small bolts. And what we'll do here is we'll grab our nut that we got from Home Depot, put it through this hole, and on the back of here there's already built-in nuts to the Auxbeam light. So what you'll do here is take these small bolts that came in the hardware, just maneuver it around enough, put them in this hole. I really like how Auxbeam did this. They're really easy, self-explanatory. How to bolt these up, comes with directions. Put this one right here. What this bracket does is actually allow you to do some adjustability too. If you want to point the light down, up, any way you really want it to. But sometimes these could be tricky to do. You want to point them down just because they are light bars, so you don't want to shine them right in people's eyes. So pointing it down will do perfectly. And we live in the state of Georgia, and I've had mine on my car for over a year and a half, never had any problems with any cops or anything. So if you're worried about that, then all you got to do is line this up a little bit, tighten this down a little bit more, and you can always adjust as much as you want to. We'll put the spacer on first, actually. This through the hole. It's perfect. And I'll have to go over here. In this bag that comes with the hardware, you want this nut. And then put the washer on, and then you probably don't want to see this, but what you'll do is put the washer on first on the bottom because that hole's so big, put the nut on, and then you're good to go. So now, as you can see, it sits up properly, and then what you'll want to do now is just use this guy, and then, you guys can't probably see this, but the bolts that we put in first to put the bracket on, you want to tighten them down, because what those do is, like, you can see how I can move this now, and you can move it up and down, which is the bracket is right here, and we want to kind of point them a little bit down. As you guys can see, you can move it pretty good, but that one seems like it matches up pretty good. Do it like right there and then tighten it down. Yeah. So now what you want to use is the wiring harness that comes through the firewall, and all you got to do is this is the harness that comes off the light, and just plug it into the white for the hot. Throw it in there. What we'll have to do is we'll crimp it. Throw it in the ground, the black wire, and that's literally all you got to do is crimp it down, and we're good to go. Tuck this up so you can't really see it. Kevin, for this light, tucked it all the way in here like he showed you. We'll have to tuck this back in there so you don't see the red. It looks super clean. I love the way it looks. And then, as always, remember, you have to unhook your headlight, just because when you plug your battery back in, the headlights will freak out if you try to turn the headlight down. So, do the finishing touch here. Just turn your headlight down. And see how they look. So as I said before, you just want to take some crimpers. I got the red one already. No, actually, I got the black one. Just slide it in there in a little pocket. Just do some crimping on it so it doesn't fall out.
Alright guys, so the last step over here, I went ahead and tucked all the wires up. They're all cleaned up in there. And I'll show you just in a second. The relay, if you probably can't see this, but the relay I have tucked up in there with a zip tie. You're gonna have to find a spot for that as well. But the hardest part is what you see me doing right now, which is trying to get this back cover to the steering column back on. And I'm not having very good luck so far. So, as you can see on here, there's tabs on either side, and then there's tabs at top. These tabs at top have to go underneath the dash, and then there's little hooks on either side, and then there's 2 screws in the bottom. Alright, so underneath here, the relay is tucked up over here with a zip tie right behind the fuse box, and that right there is was blank on my car. I don't know what it is actually for, but that's the ground for the lights. I went ahead and just grabbed a nut I had laying around, put it on top of that, and tightened it down. All the rest of the wires are tucked up under here. I zip tied the extra wires for the harness for the lights around. It looks like the airbag wires there, and then I ran it up the side here, and it's got a nice sticky thing, so it sticks right on the back and it looks very clean right here.
Oh yeah, dude, those look so good, man. I just love the sleeper look. A lot of people don't like the sleeper look, but I mean, dude, that looks killer, dude. It makes your car look a lot meaner. Can't really see in the daytime too much, but there they are. Oh, that's sick, dude. Dude, Kev, your car is just so clean. Oh, dude, yes. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, guys, if you guys like Miata content, stay with us, because like we got the dad project, we got Kevin's budget Miata, and we got my Ecotech swap. So a ton of Miata content on the channel, and we're gonna start doing some Mustang content, and we got the Genesis too. But
thanks guys.
Thanks guys.
Remember, like, comment, subscribe.
Peace out guys.